Hey guys. So, oh gosh, it's been forever, hasn't it? So I finally got a day off. So I decided, because I'm not tired, not really anyway. I only got like 5 hours sleep, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna go ahead and do my day review for the past 2 episodes, which I have missed. Well, not missed. I actually did watch the first episode, which I'm about to talk about. Well, I watched part of it, and then my TV was being weird. Like I was watching it on demand, and it was just being glitchy. So I decided, oh god, I have to find it on the internet when I can. So yeah, I just finished watching it again. So I didn't want to watch the whole episode over again. Thankfully, my memory actually serves me really good, so I remember a lot of the details. Well, I could talk about this. Then we're gonna talk about season three, because some new things surfaced yesterday we need to talk about. Or maybe I'll do that in another video. Yeah, I'll probably put that in another video. Um, so yeah, you can probably watch that one later. Anyway, the first episode, was episode 8, I think. If I'm not mistaken, it's episode 8. It was, crap, I feel like I'm gonna say the wrong thing. I literally just watched it a second ago, and now I forgot what it's called. I think it's Blood is Thicker. Am I right? Yes, I am. Blood is Thicker. Um, Blood is Thicker was, wow. It was a very interesting episode, because a lot of things happened. Um, Besides the case, obviously we're gonna go into that. There were a lot of um things that happened personally for Sherlock that I feel they're important to get into, because for one, the last scene was, it was very confusing, because um I will have to discuss it. But first, let's take this episode piece by piece. Okay. In the episode, it opens up with Mycroft and Sherlock on top of the roof of the brownstone, and they're fencing, and I was like, oh, that is such a thing for people to do. They fence, and it was awesome. But it weird, because they're fencing, right? Oh, that's not so weird for Sherlock to be fencing with his brother. Then not too weird anyway, since we know that they've reconciled in a way. But when you get a closer look, you see like this egg on top of the helmet of from both on both their sides, and so Sherlock, that's his way of not making you boring. He tries to smash Mycroft's the egg off his head or whatever, and Mycroft tries to do the same. I can't remember which one of them won. And then they did it again. I was like, that's kind of neat though. Like, who would think of doing that? Only Sherlock in his own orthodox ways. Okay, then they get a case. Then Sherlock and Watson get a case, of course. And it what appears to be a murder of this woman. So, this is where the title really comes into play, because for a while they thought it was just someone who was out to get her or something. As you would think, she fell off a terrace onto this truck. This truck that was delivering. It's like UPS sort of. It's like one of those mail carriers or whatever, like FedEx or whatnot. And so the guy sees him, because he follows the truck, and the carrier is talking to this other guy who they see often, apparently. They're talking about they were using a crossword puzzle, and he gave him a new word. So they found the body, and then they called the cops, and Bell had Sherlock come on the scene, because it was a bit strange. And so what first appears to be just a regular old murder, which isn't that weird to say, a regular old murder. So what appears to be that is so much more. So they find out that the girl, she's being housed by a major multi-billionaire company, or at least the CEO of it. He's big in the computer internet world. He's famous because he was a part of that whole big deal with computers. He was he was like one of the ones who opened up the world for technology, basically. And so Sherlock, his immediate thought was that he was having an affair with the girl. She was his mistress, but it turns out that isn't right at all. It turns out that she is his daughter, his out of wedlock daughter that he had years ago in the 80s when he had a one night stand. And he paid the girl's mom I think $2 billion. It was either $2 billion or $2 million to stay out of his life, like to not bring her around him or whatever. And she did that, even though it probably hurt the woman a lot. And the woman didn't want her daughter to come to New York. She came to New York because her dad was dying, and he had not even tried to contact her at all, which is, that's pretty sad to think about. Like, you never even knew your father ever, then suddenly he's come knocking on your door because he needs blood. He needs your blood in order to live. And another part of it was that the man wanted to, his name is Ian Gale. Ian Gale wanted, he wanted, gosh, I feel really bad all over the place, sorry guys. Ian Gale wanted to reconnect her just in case he did die, But, when they first revealed that it was not just a that's his mistress, so I'm gonna kill her because she's ruining my life type of thing. But instead, it was something worse. Like, because before they even revealed that she was his daughter, before they found out the man was sick, they went to visit the company to talk to him, but they couldn't because his not business partner. He's someone, I think he's like his assistant or something. They just wouldn't let him through, right? I mean, they wouldn't let him talk to him, and Sherlock was like, he pointed out to him that he knew that wasn't Ian Gale, because he was supposed to be like in all these different places all around the world doing press and stuff, and there was this man who was posing as him. It was a stand-in, basically. Sherlock's like, that is not Ian Gale. Ian Gale is so and so. He's like so much taller than the guy, and the guy is shorter. And then Sherlock, and so then finally he was like, you can either take me to him, or we could find a way for this to work, or we can find a way to do it ourselves and find out where Ian Gale is, because they thought he disappeared or something, but in fact he was still in the States, because he wasn't actually spotted anywhere. Like, he had never left his house, or he wasn't spotted at his house. He was just off the radar completely, at least for Sherlock, because Sherlock could tell that the dude he had a stand-in for his events instead of actually being there, but no one else obviously could figure that out. And so then the guy takes him to Ian Gale. Ian Gale's in the hospital, and he's dying. He's pretty much dying. He has this rare blood type, and also he has his problem with his heart that is really hard to fix, and it's nearly impossible. So he needs a new heart. And while his daughter can't give him that, she can give him blood to try to battle the antibodies, because he has like an influx of antibodies in his system, and it's killing him because he can't fight them all off, right? And so it appears that his wife might have something to do with the murder, but there's no motive, because they found out that she hadn't even known about the daughter until he told her when the need surfaced, right? And so she became the suspect for a moment, and then they switched it over to the ex-boyfriend, on and off again boyfriend, who apparently was in the States for some time. Well, not in the States. Let me talk about this. They're all Americans, these people. It just gets confusing after a while, because switching from London to, yeah, okay. And so the thing is, the on and off again boyfriend, who's also abusive. He was abusive to her, but no one even knew he was in New York. because she's from Texas, me. But that was not the case at all. It turns out that he was actually there taking care of her because the wife, of course, the wife, she used to be a doctor, like a licensed. She did something in the medical field, right? And so her and the lab tech, because they went to check because the boyfriend had, when they interrogated him, he had said that 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 she had gotten sick like for 2 weeks while she was in New York, and he was there taking care of her. And so during her murder, he ran out to the pharmacy to get her some medicine because she looked like she had the flu, and he wanted to help her as much as he could. He wasn't just there because what they thought, all of them thought he was there because she suddenly was coming into some kind of money. But it turns out he was actually trying to be a good boyfriend and take care of her because she looked ill. And the reason why she was sick, she wasn't sick when they took her blood, but the wife, she injected this stream of something into her, which made her sick, really sick. And the wife was jealous, pretty much. She was jealous of she wasn't jealous, she was upset because this girl was, when her husband died, she would get pretty much all the money. She wouldn't be in shit, right? And so as that goes, you feel like you have to eliminate the threat, right? And so she put all this stuff together. She got her husband to change the will. Apparently she got her husband to change the will, but she was still upset about the fact that the daughter would be getting everything, and if the daughter died before the husband died, the money would go to her mother, who hadn't even talked to Ian Gale in years, because, well, he gave her the money to not talk, like, when she had the baby. And so that was a big deal. Like, I was like, it's always the damn wife. Why do the wives always have to be so weird? But yeah, the wife ended up doing it. She ended up, besides the fact the serum that she injected in her with a lie, saying that it was something that was going to help her with the after effects of giving blood, or would help her in some way. She also got someone to kill her, like actually kill her, because she didn't do it herself, obviously. She only planted a portion of what was needed in order to effectively eliminate her from this situation. And so the lab tech was the one who killed her ultimately. First, he helped get some tissue things that they needed in order for the serum to fully take effect, and then he ended up killing her. He wasn't supposed to throw her off the terrace or whatever, but I guess when she was fighting him or trying to go away from him, that's where she ran, and when he stabbed her, she fell over. And so that was something they were not trying to let happen, but it happened anyway. So yeah, the case was actually very interesting, because one of my favorite parts of it was because Watson, she was so, like, she was so, she gotten so much better at this. Like, there was a moment where, because she was the one who initially thought that the wife was a suspect. Sorry, a suspect that needed to be looked into, and she had for a minute, but there was no true motive that they could see at first, which, of course, they eventually got her. And also another part of this episode, which I have to talk about because it's part of the personal side, that I really enjoyed was Watson, because so Mycroft, as I said, he's in the episode. He's actually in the episode a lot, because his not club, I was gonna say club because that's what I'm used to calling Diogenes. Diogenes is the restaurant chain that he has in New York, and he's obviously he's there doing business without trying to get off the ground before he goes back to London. So he's about to go back to London, and he asked Sherlock to come to Diogenes to eat with him and enjoy, you know, a little dinner with him. And 3 times he doesn't go because he's been working on cases. And then finally Watson's like, you're gonna go and I'm gonna go, because she ends up going to the morgue to help the pathologist who we met in another episode before. You remember him and Sherlock have like bets going and stuff, which is great. I'm happy they have a recurring character like that because he's really fun and fresh. I like it. Speaking of recurring characters, I miss Alfredo. I'm just saying, I do. I like Alfredo. Oh, man. I kind of want them to bring him back, even though he's not doing, you know, that stuff anymore. It would be great. But yeah. So, yeah, Mycroft and Sherlock, they sit down at dinner, and after dinner, Sherlock's like, he's like, just because he's like, I do enjoy, I forgot the word he used, it was a really difficult word, I cannot remember what it was. He was basically saying that he enjoyed the finer things in life at times, but it wasn't his whole existence. And then Mycroft brought up something that I knew because, you know, the episode before, when the preview came on, it showed that Sherlock had the proposition to leave New York to go back to London. So that's what Mycroft wanted to talk to him about. But it turns out Sherlock was really, it was because his father, so-called, that's what they said. And so Sherlock, he's like, I'm not leaving New York for London. He's like, yes, I miss aspects of London, but I really don't. I don't miss anything. And so Mycroft just tells him what his father said. He said that his father might cut him off, and because he was using some of the trust fund to give Watson money for his salary for a time, and Watson didn't even know that. She didn't know it until he brings it up later on when he tells her about the problem where they might have to move out of the brownstone, because remember, that building is owned by his father. And so he asks Watson, now that you know that, what do you think, what are we gonna do? He's like, because he mentioned that they could move to London and probably just work at Scotland Yard and wouldn't have to worry about stuff. And Watson, we know that Watson interacted with his father in some way, like over email or whatever, before, but it wasn't like, she's never met him. She goes, I've never met your father, but screw him. And I was like, oh, Watson, you're a badass girl, you're great. So they're staying in New York, obviously, but we won't really know until later how much that affects everything, because, well, one of the things is, okay, the end of the episode, like I mentioned earlier, the end of the episode was confusing because it ends with so Sherlock gives Mycroft a letter to give to his father, right? And so they show Mycroft and Diogenes drinking some wine, and so yeah, he takes out the envelope that Sherlock gives him and he tears it up, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing, dude? You're supposed to give that to your dad. And then he enters this number in his phone and call. And it's for a minute I thought he was actually talking to his dad, and then then he mentions his father, so it's obviously not him. I have this inkling that it's Moriarty. I have this inkling that Mycroft is working with someone, and it isn't good. And it could not be Moriarty, of course, but that's what I think when I think of that, because, you know, she's in, God, what is the name of the prison? She's in that prison. And remember, Moriarty, she sent Sherlock a letter, which we don't know if he ever responded to it. I don't think he will. I hope he doesn't, because that's just bad. But like, it's confusing. So like, we won't know. I'm pretty sure we won't know what's going on with this whole Mycroft playing with whoever this other person is, trying to get Sherlock to go back to London. For what reason, we do not know. It is true that the intentions were not about his dad getting ready to cut him off. It was not happening. So I'll see you guys in a moment with the second part. And we're back. I'm a little shaken at this point in time. Not exactly from the episode. The episode was very intense, let me tell you. But the preview for tonight's episode is very, oh gosh, it's just wow. I'm definitely watching it tonight, like one time. Oh gosh. I'm gonna have to get this out the way. It's just I can't believe, wow. So Detective Bulk is getting shot in the next episode, and it seems um that they might be terminating um Sherlock and Watson's what is it, consultation privileges, like completely from the NYPD. And wow, because it seems that Sherlock willingly let Detective Bell get shot, and it basically looks like he's cold. You know, like, we know Sherlock isn't a loving person, not really, but you know, yeah, I don't even know what to say. You'll have to see. I think I'm gonna record my review tonight too, just for the hell of it, and post it also. So you'll be getting 2 videos today. Wonderful. So yeah, that's that. Yeah. Wow. I'm like, I don't even. Wow. Okay. Now I'm talking about the episode. It's called On the Line. That was the one right after Blood is Thicker. And On the Line is, wow. This episode was intense. Is like, you don't even know. Like, okay, so I also watch Criminal Minds, which also comes on CBS. I need to catch up because I'm a couple episodes behind. But it just reminded me of that because they're always looking after serial killers, right? In this episode, Holmes is after another serial killer who he realized is a serial killer because of this case that they have been called on to in the very early episode. And it's basically the only case throughout the whole episode. That's all they talk about, just the case. And the case is this woman. The episode opens up with this woman. She's on the bridge, and I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge, if I'm not mistaken. She's on this bridge. She has this gun in her hand, and there's a dumbbell attached to it over the railing where she's by wire, and it has like a towel or something over it because she's trying to prevent the GSR from getting on her, and she ends up shooting herself in that way. And at first they thought it was murder because she ended up calling into the NYPD and confessing that this guy was after her and was about to kill her or something like that. And the guy was the same person who she had suspicions that he had murdered her sister some years ago, but they never convicted anyone for it, even though she had strong suspicions. Wow, that word is just weird on my mouth today. Suspicions that he was the one who killed her sister. Because at the time she was visiting her sister at these apartments she was living in, and she saw this man who looked like he was moving the refrigerator, and when she knocked on the door to see her sister, because they talked, and then when she knocked on the door or something, she wasn't answering, but she saw the man with this big refrigerator because he was moving their neighbors, which, you know, most people don't think of the movers really, but that's a pretty good cover. Not that I'm giving one ideas, that's just a really good cover to hide a body in a refrigerator, but carrying the body in the refrigerator, that's crazy. It's crazy talk, right? And so I don't know if it was truly the guilt of the man never going to be getting caught, because during the original investigations of her sister, the detectives just completely written off him as the murderer because they couldn't find anything on him. Like, they couldn't find any evidence that that's what he did, because all of the all the evidence that would have pointed to him was not, they couldn't find it. But Sherlock, of course, at the end of the episode, he found out what happened. The reason why he found out this man was a serial killer was because, so they brought him in for interrogation after the phone call came in from the woman before she killed herself. And he asked for a polygraph. And during his polygraph, there were a couple little points where it would shift just slightly, just a tick. And it made him, he's like, this is not right. Like, he was answering the questions truthfully, clearly. By the polygraph they could see it, but there were these little moments when it seemed like he was holding something back, or he wasn't telling the truth absolutely. So Sherlock, he went in like right when Detective Bell, because they were about to let him go, right when Detective Bell was about to let him go, because they had to let him go because he seemed innocent at the time. But Sherlock asked him the question, did he kill the girl's sister? And he said, no, I did not. And Sherlock, he felt it was very off. Like, it just didn't make sense to him. So then when Detective Bell and Lestrade, they came back, and Lestrade, sorry, wrong show, Gregson, Captain Gregson, wow, sorry, I've been in a little confused. I was thinking about Lestrade, that's probably why. They were trying to figure out why he asked him that and what he was on about. And he said that man's a serial killer. Like, he had to explain to them why he thought so, and he showed the polygraph test to Gregson, and he showed him all the markers that he saw that were inconsistent. And he was watching him while he was getting the polygraph, and he saw when he would bite his tongue like that, and it would spike, because that little trigger would spike a small bit of pain marker, like not a marker, but like it accelerates your heart rate basically for just a tick. So it was giving an illusion that he was hesitating in a way from telling the truth. Like, he was telling the truth, but it wasn't the whole truth, Tell the truth, no, but the truth, so help you God. But he just, and he was like, when Sherlock talked to him, you could tell there was something about him that was really off and wrong. And I knew from the beginning, I was like, he's not a good man. Like, the way he would talk would make it seem like he had this arrogant bit about him, and also there was this creepy factor to him. Like, I don't explain it. When you're dealing with, when you watch psychopaths, and they try to subtly, oh God, word S's are troubling me today, oh God, subtly, still said it wrong, oh well, subtly, when he subtly tried to, when they subtly tried to, lead you on or goad you, goad the investigator, that's what he was doing to Sherlock, and every time he would talk to him, that's what would happen. And I was like, oh God, I hope he punches him. I hope he does not lose this case. Later on in the episode, Sherlock ends up punching him, and he gets a restraining order from him and Watson, even though Watson was not even there at all. But for a time, there's this other investigator who was the head of the investigation of the girl who died early episode's sister. And her sister, this investigator was adamant he did not like Holmes whatsoever, and he let I keep doing it, he let Gregson know that he didn't approve of didn't approve of his methods of keep continually consulting Holmes, and Lestrade was like, because Lestrade's the captain. I keep doing it. Oh my God, why do I keep doing it? It's so confusing because they use Gregson, and they've already introduced Lestrade as the one from NSY, and oh God, it's been a while. Jesus, I'm gonna try this, guys. I apologize if I keep doing it. And my head is all in season 3 mess. God. Oh, oh God. Okay, so yeah, Gregson. God, I lost my train of thought. Oh God. Shoot, I forgot. I'm just gonna. I don't. I really don't even remember what I was saying. Oh damn it. So Gregson. Oh, okay. Gregson was. He basically told him that I don't care if you don't like my methods. Holmes is better than most of the people on the force, and he makes solving cases so much easier and quicker. And he wasn't going to stop letting them help him just because other people, just because a lot of other people were didn't like Holmes and didn't like the way he worked, because he agitates people. We know this. He's just not a very kind person. And he wants to work. He needs to work, you know. So that was a big thing. And the guy tried to get Sherlock off the case because he didn't like the way Sherlock, because Sherlock did try, he was coming at him really hard. And this also drove a wedge between him and Watson throughout the episode, because Watson, she found this, there was this cartoon on the bulletin board and it at NYPD that basically someone was making fun of Sherlock and Watson. And she didn't like being ridiculed in that way. And so for a while, they were butting heads a lot, because at one point, she decided that they needed to be separated. Like, they need to go see the two, because they found the two people who previously had been victims of their loved ones being kidnapped and killed and being found. And one of them was a key part in the solving of the case. His wife had never been found, and she wasn't presumed dead. They just couldn't find her, and the case was still technically open. And while he's grieving about it, he went into this chat room online to kind of be able to talk about her without, actually going somewhere and being in like a group. And so I think Watson and Bell were the ones who went to see him, and they talked to him about that, and they asked about, the scary serial killer guy. And he had no clue who that man was, because he'd never seen him, because he was also, the thing is that this man was involved in several other abductions and possibly murders of women who lived in a building that he posed as a mover for. And that's kind of scary, isn't it? To, you're not safe in your own home because there's a guy portraying something that he's not. Instead, he's being predatory, and that's just not safe. And it kind of broke my heart, because I was like, if this guy doesn't get his wife back, I'm gonna be really sad, because there had really never been any, clues into whether or not if she was alive, because he never got any, ransom or anything. And so what happens is, as Sherlock, after he punches the guy, because he punches the guy when he goes to his studio, because he's a sound engineer, mixes with music and stuff. And he ends up shooting the glass, and the dude comes in, he's like, you shot my glass? He's like, no I didn't. And he ends up punching the guy, because the guy is goading him, and he hates it, and he was baiting him in order for him to hit him. He wanted him to hit him so that he would have a way of not letting Holmes really catch him. And so that's when he was taken off the case. That's when Holmes and Watson were taken off the case, even though he would probably have been able to solve it a lot quicker if they would let him in. And then they found out another girl was abducted. But before they found that out, there was this ploy that happened within the investigation, when the man who they met, who was doing the online group thing, he knew this other woman who he talked to on there, supposedly the other woman he talked on there, who had also lost her daughter through the same way that he lost his wife. and she knew, or she dated the killer, right? And so he had tried to contact her, and it seemed like it was a good lead, right? But it turns out it was all a lie. When they went to the town to talk to the woman, because she agreed to be, it turned out this woman was actually real, but she didn't have a daughter, and she knew the killer at all. The man falsified all the stuff, just, it's just to keep tabs on that husband who had been missing his wife, and and all that stuff. So then that's when he found him, and then they found out about the actual true place, which was the lake house that his parents owned, that the husband knew about, but no one had really checked it, whatever. But it was irrelevant. The true place where he took them was actually inside a studio. Inside a studio, there was this room. Sherlock noticed it on the what was it? The blueprint of the building. The blueprint of the building, it looked smaller than what it was when it was initially built. And that's a bit weird when something suddenly changes on a blueprint. So finally Sherlock was put back on the case because he found this little discrepancy, and they got a warrant to search the place. And the dude was still acting like he didn't know nothing about any of the murders or the abductions of these ladies. But Sherlock got him. Of course he did. He had to. And they found him there was this back room, there was a storage room in a portion of the studio that he went to, and it was unlocked. Like, they moved some, I think it was some amps. They moved some amps out the way. And there was this steel door with a lock on it. And Sherlock was like, where's the key? Or Gregson was like, give me the key. And Sherlock got it from him, unlocked it. One girl came out. Then she was like, please help. She's been here longer than me. Like, the first girl was already like, she looked like she was in hell. And then the second one, she was suffering more because he had made her take some sleeping pills, and it, like, as someone who has taken sleeping pills before, I've done it because I have insomnia and after you work early, but this woman, she had been tortured and and all that, and abducted. That's crazy. Like, it sucks. And so this was the woman whose husband they had met, and he was grieving because he didn't know if she was alive because they never found her, right? That was her, and they got reunited, and I almost started crying because someone from the police force called him because Gregson and then found his wife, and they had her in with the paramedics. He's like, is she okay? Is she alright? And then he's like, yeah, she's over there with the paramedics, and they met up again, and I thought it was the cutest thing, like, because it was so emotional. And then it got worse because I was talking about how cold Sherlock was before when I was talking about the next episode that's coming out tonight, but I feel like we need to talk about this scene. There was this ending scene of the episode where Sherlock talks about how dark he is and how much he knows that he cannot change. He's like, because he's talking to Watson, and Watson's talking about how, because he brings up, he's painting, he has, like, those dollhouses, those dollhouses that people make. He was messing with one, and because he made it, I assume he was painting, and Watson comes in and they start talking, and he starts to discuss how he feels that Watson shouldn't expect him to be nice because he can't be, because most of his life he's been this way. He's not going to change. He's always going to be a cold person, and there's nothing that can change that. And she goes, you have changed. He's like, sure, I am nice to you because I find you exceptional, and therefore I feel I have to be exceptional towards you, but that doesn't change anything about me. And then she tells him what did she tell him? She told him, oh god, I lost the line. What was it? She told him, god, it was such a hard scene to watch, especially with the music. The music kind of scared me a bit because it was, it's like dark music pretty much. But she was like, not every, oh, I know what she said. She was like, not everyone, no one could stand living with someone like that for so long. And that basically, I feel like it's gonna be a catalyst or something that happens eventually. I feel like they're gonna somehow make the Reichenbach fall happen. Like, I know it happened with Moriarty. Clearly in the last episode they were edging up to something big happening, something bigger happening. But somehow I think Watson and Holmes are gonna be apart somehow. I don't know why, but it's gonna be some kind of indeterminate time where they're apart. And it's just gonna, oh god, it's gonna kill me. Oh, this show. It's so great though. It's really great. I cannot wait for tonight's episode, you guys. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be intense as fuck, guys. I know I said I was gonna put this in another video, but I feel like 3 videos in one day is a bit too much. So I'm gonna talk about it now. So yesterday, new photos for season 3 of BBC Sherlock came out, and let me tell you, I'm very excited. Very excited and nervous. More nervous than I was at first. Because there are finally photos of Molly Hooper. Thank God. Promo photos of her with everyone. There's one big photo with Mary, John, Sherlock, Molly, Greg, and Mrs. Hudson. They're in T21B, which is adorable. Then there's a photo of Sherlock and Molly together, and it's cute. Like, I noticed it immediately because Sherlock's shirt is like this reddish brown color, and Molly's clothes are like really bright and orange and really nice. And I really noticed it on their photo together because they actually have a photo together this time, which makes me really happy. And I feel like something that's hinting at something that's good, something good's happening there. I'm not saying they're gonna be together, obviously, but their friendship is important. So they, I feel like everything that they put in these promotion photos are significant. One of the significance is, I need to talk about it because it's gonna drive me nuts. Molly has a photo by herself, like just a regular one by herself, and she's like this. Her hand is like this, and on her left hand, she has a ring. And we've noticed this ring in the Sherlock photo is like a long time ago, and I told you I only focused on Molly ever on the Sherlock. I never like pay attention to anything else, like, cause I don't like to look at spoiler pictures, but only when there's Lee Brayley involved that I ever look, because I love her. And so that was a big thing. And then there's another one of Molly with her and this guy who resembles Sherlock a bit. His hair is curly. He has like this blue scarf that really does remind me of Sherlock's. Well, it doesn't really, but he's dressed like him. He has this dark coat. He has cheekbones. Really, he has some cheekbones. And I don't know. Apparently his name is Tom. And they kind of look alike though. Molly and Tom, they have this. They just kind of look alike a bit, but at the same time, he kind of looks like Sherlock, which is weird. And I don't know about that ring because I want it to be about Charles I'm gonna say his name wrong. The Milverton case. I really do, because I feel like Sherlock got fake engaged to her, and that would be the best thing ever. Because I mean, God, the thing that kind of trips me out is the Molly and Sherlock photo. The one of them together it's at a weird angle. It's like tilted to the side, and Molly's smiling next to him, and he looks kind of strange. Like, he looks calm, but not completely calm, but he looks less tense. He looks really uncomfortable in all the other photos, I'm just saying, except there was one when he's on his phone, and he looks like he's looking at someone. I'm gonna put a link to the photos in the description just in case someone wants to look at them and haven't seen them. They're actually two different ones. There's another one with Molly on a different website. There's another new photo of her where she's in her lab coat and she has all these, look like she has like paperwork in front of her. She's looking is by a window and she's looking down, like she looks kind of sad actually. I don't know, not really sad, but she looks like she's in thought right now. And I thought that was, there's some really amazing photos. There's some of Miss Hudson, really gorgeous photos of Miss Hudson and Miss Stubbs. I love her. And then there's some really good ones of Lestrade, and there's like actually I'll just link y'all because on my Tumblr I posted quite a few of them in like photo sets, so you can view all of them if you like, just in case, because I think I tagged them all with something that, yeah, I probably did. I tagged them mostly with the same thing so that it's easy to look for. But yeah, I'm gonna start talking about, I swear I talk about Molly a lot. I'm sorry. It's just I'm gonna end up doing a whole vlog and stuff or review at some point where I talk nothing but Molly Hooper. Especially when the new season airs. Oh, also, new release date. There's a release date for the UK, which I'll be watching live stream because it comes 2 weeks, I think, before our release date in the US. Because theirs is January 1st. So I'm gonna watch in live stream, and it's gonna be great. And so it's just there's so many things going on right now, but I'm excited. So I'll see you guys. I think I'm gonna upload it. I might upload the video tomorrow. Yeah, I'll upload the video tomorrow, but I'm gonna record it tonight. Anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.